if it would be, I'm guessing, one of those two cliffs.
Looks like it.
Oh, don't you Naruto run at me.
Yeah, you can't get up. Or Garson.
Damn it, bullshit.
Anyway, Brian was like, oh, the grass starter is like so broken and the other two are so useless, and we didn't actually argue about this because I had moved on to some other topics because we rambled about Pokemon for like over 2 hours, but he was like, the other two starters are just so bad. They have no use. I'm like, except in competitive.
Now, I will be fair on some level, say the other two starters sitting in OU, if like some of their other sets or sample sets, it seems to partly be one of those things.
Well, a lot of the sample sets are because it's fucking Smogon meta shifts every 5 minutes.
That was my point of it's like...
Yes, but...
One, you could make an argument...
Yes, but I get what they were doing and what...
Well, and the other thing is it seemed... Huh. Hey, look, a Delibird.
Nice familiar Pokemon down here, too. Daddy? Oh my gosh, so cute!
Dad.
Delibird!
Ah.
What the? Okay, I think the Jigglypuff with fangs is more fucking threatening than a Santa robot.
Then the Penguinator over here.
That's what this is. Beat boop murder.
Because it's a penguin, wouldn't it be like beep boop squawk?
What?
It's ice.
Water.
I don't want to swap into the grass type and get hit by a fucking like blizzard or something.
I get you.
Oh, that's actually a thick boy.
Kind of. It's mostly special attack and speed. But it has kind of rounded natural bulk.
Yeah, I used drill peck there. I didn't want, like...
No, I get you.
I didn't want to swap in to, like, the starter, and it's like, oh, of course you hit the blizzard. Oh, of course you get the 30% freeze off the lizard. Anyway, it was, like, Smogon.
It was a kind of mechanical-looking Delibird.
Anyway, it was like the Smogon thing. What I was going to say to be fair, while they are OU, it's they're some of the things that are OU are OU for like a reason I sometimes kind of don't like Smogon, where it's like, it's not really that the Pokemon is good, it's that the Pokemon is good for what Smogon wants. Like Glamora as an example, because every time this thing gets hit, it lays a toxic spike due to that, and the thing does get its stealth rocks and standard spikes as well.
I think?
Due to that, this thing can set up several layers of entry hazards way faster than other Pokemon can, because anytime you try to rapid spin shit away, you will hit it and it will lay down another layer of toxic spikes, making what you just did completely useless, or it will at that point then be able to get up like spikes or stealth rocks for free. And the other funny thing was that, remember, that Pokemon, and this seems to be one of the few times something was designed to actually be singles focused and not doubles focused, that thing has a poison type rapid spin as a move exclusive to it.
Yes.
Meaning that Ghost can no longer be your only spin blocker. You have to have a Steel type as a spin blocker. But I will admit this point is kind of moot because of the existence of Goldingo.
Which was also OU.
Of course it is. There would be a
poison type rapid spin? Meet Goldingo. Goldingo, poison type rapid spin. Going back to my point. To ramble a little bit. them not following competitive, and we argued about a bunch of things, and I didn't make some other points because we ended up in this discussion where I was trying to complain about why I hate the way a lot of people talk about Smogon, and I didn't really word this correctly, so I'm gonna change my wording here now and be on my own a lot more blunt, because I used to also do this before I realized that this was childish and obnoxious. My problem with Smogon and so many people that follow and associate with a Smogon meta is what I call Smogon elitism, where, and like, I'm sorry, this is an actual problem, and just because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean we shouldn't call this out, because this is a problem, and when any fan base does this, I roll my eyes, and it hurts me that I used to be this guy before I realized that this was immature. And you might be wondering, what the fuck are you calling Smogon elitism? Well, basically, so many people that follow Smogon are under this ridiculous belief that the Smogon metagame is the most balanced and fair metagame ever created, and that Game Freak should use Smogon rules in VGC, and that Game Freak ignoring Smogon rules is Game Freak ignoring their true fans. You should probably heal.
How do I heal?
In the bed, Carson. Go to sleep. It's fruit. I did that. And then whatever is the first Pokemon in your party will appear in the you and Black Sun, and the rest of your party feel. There you go, full heal. Anyway, and I will call this out, and yes, this is kind of a personal thing, but just because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean this isn't obnoxious. If you want Smogon to be taken seriously, I'm sorry, do not act like Smogon rules are the greatest thing ever created, and that Game Freak should be disgusted that they would dare to not use Smogon rules in a VGC setting, because the moment you act like you know better than the fucking game creators is the moment I will tell you to fuck off, and that you are being an entitled, whiny child. Smogon rules had some great shit. I will agree. And there was a draft rig on the cliff.
Where?
Damn it, it fell.
Oh.
It was...
Aw, that would have been good thumbnail.
Okay, I might be... There was enough frame where I might be able to... Anyway. I'll just be fucking blunt on my own here. Just to say my piece. And, like, if Sean and Brian end up listening to this, look, I get you cannot be bothered by this. That's fine. But it just pisses me off when a fan base hits the point of entitlement that they feel their fucking fan rules should be acknowledged by the, like, main development team. And that if you're not acknowledging their shit, that you don't, like, Smogon rules not being acknowledged by Game Freak means they don't care about the fans. They don't care about the real competitive game.
You're saying, but let's be honest. Most people play Monopoly via house rules. And while I make that joke, wasn't there actually a rule that is in the official rules now? Because everyone always thought it was a thing, but it never was.
Over the years, I believe Monopoly adjusted for some dumb fan shit because there was a rule.
Because, like, wasn't it actually the getting $200 when you pass go? Wasn't that actually a common house rule initially?
I don't think that was a...
I can't remember what it was, but there was like a common rule that that was actually technically originally house rules. It wasn't in the like earliest version of the game in like the 70s.
My main point here, and the I beat boot murder. I love it's text word on.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to my point, my ramble, because I need to just, on my own, since I'm not arguing with Sean and Brian, say my fucking piece about,
Though I actually am curious here because this is neutral health. Oh yeah, it actually only did half because it wasn't super effective.
yes,
And that was life orb boosted.
and crit.
Well, it leads to a funny thing I wanted to bring up that I learned between recordings with Meowscarada, and it actually, like, one, this
Damage range.
Well, you say damage range, but this thing has a high, like, physical attack.
Yes, but you did exact.
Yes, but basically something, like, rather interesting was Meowscarada I wanted to bring up because of a video, so no. It was a video about, like, speedruns for this game, and of course has various different things. One, I think there is a Mad Lad speedrun category where you actually do all of the stories and basically get here, but the most common speedruns is focusing on each, like, individual story. The speedrun for the Path of Titans, well, Meowscarada for a while there was actually used physically. The person that, at least at the time of the video, I don't know if this still stands, the person that held the world record didn't use a physical Meowscarada. They actually used a special one. Because the reason they used a special one, Meowscarada can learn a Grass Knot. Grass Knot
is special based weight damage that can hit a bunch of...
And all of the Titans...
are bulky fat asses.
Are so fat, they basically do take the, like, 120 from...
That's literally how stats in Pokemon work.
No, I'm just bringing it up as a funny...
I'm not surprised that a very specific... Going back to my point, I need to just riff on Smogon for 5 minutes, because I used to also kind of be a Smogon elitist before I realized that that was childish and stupid. Smogon, the one key rule that I think Smogon has that I agree is really good is a sleep clause, because sleep in Pokemon is skillless nonsense. And that is the one fundamental thing I will agree on.
I don't have to put up with Brute Bonnet.
What?
I said, I don't have to put up with Brute Bonnet.
Well, because of the sleep clause, like, Brute Bonnet can exist. It could just put, like...
I'm saying in this specific context, what I was talking about was...
Yes. Sleep is skillless. I think Smogon's sleep rule is something Game Freak really should implement into actual Pokemon games as a hard-locked, hard-programmed, not just, like, literally a gentleman's agreement, but, like, Generation 10, you should be able to put something to sleep, and if you try to put another Pokemon to sleep, it should just say, failed. Sleep is skillless. I can agree on Smogon for the sleep thing. That rule, I actually agree with Smogon players, should be in VGC. Now, everything else for Smogon, I think, is stupid in a lot of ways, and this is just me. I'm going to riff on Smogon. I'm also going to call out certain VGC opinions, because this is something we talked about a little bit. It's now my time to just kind of ramble on the mic and just give my own opinions, whether Sean or Brian agree with me or not. You can only read them. And it is basically this. Now, certain VGC people were also similar to this, but Smogon people were a lot worse. But to talk about some Smogon rules that I think are stupid, and I feel like I'm gonna jump between Smogon and VGC. So many Smogon players are also like, VGC should allow you to use more than one of an item. Having an item restriction restricts team building. It's like, what if I want 2 life orbs? Does that really break the metagame?
Well, that item, and no, like, I feel multiple choice items are like weakness policies is when shit could start getting annoying.
Or fucking Focus Sash.
That too.
Because the Focus Sash is teetering right on. Or here's another one with certain metagames. I'm like, I'm sorry, you think, like, now, doubles and...
Oh.
What?
He was running into the wall for a minute.
Doubles and singles. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how many of you agree with the point I was trying to make about Smogon elitism, since my main point is about the common thread that links a lot of Smogon players together, and that thread is the fact that people that commonly play Smogon feel like the rule sets of Smogon are better than the rule sets that get used at VGC. So, these people feel like their rule sets are better than the rule sets that Game Freak uses. And what often happens is exactly what happened to me. You basically end up this arrogant douchebag where you have this elitist mindset that Smogon's rules are so good that anyone not using them is clearly a moron. And I feel like the ramifications of that mindset are the problem, because then you get a bunch of idiots that think Smogon rules are official, and they basically slide into the comment section of random people doing doubles or doing other battles that are not specifically advertised as Smogon battles, and then they basically give you crap for the Pokemon that you picked for your team. If any of your Pokemon are basically banned from Smogon's OU tier, as if Smogon's tiering system should be applied to any battle in Pokemon, no matter what the context is, even though Smogon's rules are fan-made rules that only apply to fans. The Pokemon Company and Game Freak control the main rule sets for VGC, and each VGC season often adds or removes Pokemon, so each VGC season changes up the rules a little bit, but people from the Smogon side of the fanbase get butthurt and annoyed that VGC players do not use Smogon rules, and that often leads to attacking people over not following fan-made rules, And even though Sean and Brian do not have a problem with this, I think we should discourage the need to bully people for not using fan-made rules, because that is ridiculous. And if you want your rules to be taken seriously, maybe shun people that follow your rules and attack people that don't, because at the end of the day, that is incredibly stupid. Getting so butthurt that people do not use Smogon's rules, that you basically attack anyone playing other formats, because you do not seem to understand that Smogon is entirely a fandom thing, and that none of their decisions affect the Pokemon Company and Game Freak. So I think it's incredibly stupid to basically look past these people attacking other players, because that is so childish, and it makes the people that follow those rules look like a bunch of whiny babies. And that does not help the case that these rules are worth using, since your most common supporters are willing to attack people that do not agree with you. That makes Smogon look like a cult, even if that's not the case. And even if the minority are the people doing this, we still need to call them out, because it's never okay to attack people over made-up fan rules when somebody is not using those rules, because somebody has the audacity to use the rules of the actual fucking game they're playing. It's like, how dare you not follow this arbitrary rule set created by fans when you're obviously doing a set of battles that has absolutely nothing to do with what Smogon generally governs over. It's like, how dare you play the fucking video game, and how dare you give into the terrible VGC rules when Smogon rules are so much better? I just hate the fact that these people attack other people, and I think this is ridiculous, but Sean and Brian missed my point and said, oh, there will always be idiots in a fan base. Yes, but when these idiots have a common opinion, so maybe we should explain to these people that you're making the thing you're trying to enforce look bad, since all of you are being incredibly childish, or in more extreme cases, obnoxious bullies over fucking fan rules that a few Pokemon fans created for their own personal use. And it's ridiculous that you would basically defend the attacks on others, because random fights can turn into intense cases of bullying, and that is never okay. And I'm against that coming from a disagreement over rules created by fans, which is the point I was trying to build to, because we can all be civil, and it just bothers me that people are willing to look past this type of thing, because ignoring it does not fix the problem. You need to call these people out to put a stop to this nonsense, But this rant went on for a while. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute if you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.